I still have a dream. It is a dream deeply rooted in the American dream. I have a dream that one day this nation will rise up and live out the true meaning of its creed. We hold these truths to be self-evident, that all men are created equal. I have a dream that one day on the red hills of Georgia, the sons of former slaves and the sons of former slave owners will be able to sit down together at the table of brotherhood. I have a dream. So even though we face the difficulties of today and tomorrow, I still have a dream. It is a dream deeply rooted in the American dream. I have a dream that one day this nation will rise up and live out the true meaning of its creed. We hold these truths to be self-evident, that all men are created equal. I have a dream that one day on the red hills of Georgia, the sons of former slaves and the sons of former slave owners will be able to sit down together at the table of brotherhood. I have a dream. So even though we face the difficulties of today and tomorrow, I still have a dream. It is a dream deeply rooted in the American dream. I have a dream that one day this nation will rise up and live out the true meaning of its creed. We hold these truths to be self-evident, that all men are created equal. I have a dream that one day on the red hills of Georgia, sons of former slaves and the sons of former slave owners will be able to sit down together at the table of brotherhood. I have a dream. So even though we face the difficulties of today and tomorrow, I still have a dream. It is a dream deeply rooted in the American dream. I have a dream that one day this nation will rise up and live out the true meaning of its creed. We hold these truths to be self-evident, that all men are created equal. I have a dream that one day on the red hills of Georgia, sons of former slaves and the sons of former slave owners will be able to sit down together at the table of brotherhood. I have a dream.
and who? Forward. March. Colors. Halt. Present. Colors. Ready. Cut. Order. Colors. Ready. Cut. Right. Face. Forward. March.
If you would, just join me in a brief word of prayer. Father God, as we stand on the precipice of this new year, we are careful to reflect on the echoes of seasons gone by, in which you have carried us every step of the way, from kings and queens to cargo on ships that we did not sail, from underground railroads to superhighways and to high offices of state in a land that we did not hail. It has been you, Lord. It has been always you that has sustained us always. You alone who have turned this cacophony of our lives into the symphony that is the Black American experience. So, Father, we are grateful today. We are grateful for the Urban League and their assignment in creating wonderful, extraordinary moments like today, where we can honor Dr. Martin Luther King, who set the standard of self-commitment and selflessness, Lord, to others. And so we have assembled today, irrespective of our race, our religion, and our creeds, under the shared umbrella of unity today and brotherhood and love, to recognize the hard work of your beacons of light. Your beacons of light who are leaders that you have sprinkled throughout our communities, who have taken up the mantle of integrity, accomplishing great works, Father, for those who need it most, blazing the trails for all who would rise to the call and to follow as agents of change. We are grateful for their persistence, God, and their commitment to the call. May you continue to give them strength and to carry the torch of resilience and the spark of fortitude, Father, that has moved all of us to this great day. In our precious Lord's name we pray. Amen and amen.
Good morning, everyone. I am April Woodard, and it is an honor to return and serve as your MC for the Urban League of Hampton Roads' 39th Annual MLK Community Leaders Awards program. During my daily life, I serve as an Emmy-nominated TV co-host of WTKR's Coast Live and serve as a professor and special assistant for Norfolk State University's Office of Advancement. I'm also a devoted mother and wife who is proud to serve as the First Lady of Favor Nation Church with my husband and pastor, Adrian Woodard, who gave us the wonderful invocation to begin today's program. For nearly 4 decades, the Urban League of Hampton Roads has brought us all together to honor, remember, and celebrate the incredible life and legacy of our cherished Dr. Martin Luther King, Jr. This important annual event also recognizes community leaders throughout Hampton Roads who utilize their leadership and platforms to enhance the quality of life for others, particularly those most marginalized and in great need of resources. To learn more about this year's MLK Community Leaders Awards program and the important role of the Urban League of Hampton Roads and how they serve our region, please join me as we welcome Gil Bland, President and CEO for the Urban League of Hampton Roads.
Good morning, and welcome to the Urban League of Hampton Roads 39th Annual Dr. Martin Luther King Community Leaders Program. My name is Gil Bland, and it remains an honor to serve as the President and CEO for the Urban League of Hampton Roads. On behalf of our Board of Directors, our staff, the young professionals, and our Guild members, we thank you for your support and making time this morning to join us. Today's important program is presented by Dollar Tree, our perpetual sponsor of the MLK Community Leaders Award Program, and also Riverside Health System, to celebrate and recognize leaders whose significant contributions to serving the community reflect Dr. King's commitment to social justice and equity through intentional investment with under-resourced communities. I must, however, express our disappointment to present today's program in a virtual format. All efforts were made to host the event in person. However, we continue to see a steady rise in COVID-19, flu, and respiratory illnesses across our region, and we made a decision to take what we believe is a responsible consideration for the health and well-being of our guests. While we do not know what the future holds, we truly hope this will be our last year hosting this program virtually, because next year, on Monday, January 15, 2024, we will celebrate our 40th anniversary for the MLK Community Leaders Awards program, and it promises to be spectacular. We hope you will join us. The Urban League of Hampton Roads is a proud affiliate of the National Urban League, one of the nation's oldest and largest civil rights organizations, with a mission to enable African Americans and underserved populations to secure and sustain economic self-reliance, equity, power, and civil rights. And this mission has been held for over a century. We are proud to be one of 93 grassroots affiliates across the nation, serving over 300 communities in 37 states and the District of Columbia, to provide direct services in the pillar areas of education, employment, finances, healthcare, and housing. The collective economic impact of the programs and operations of the National Urban League and the Urban League movement is $1.2 billion per year. Over the past decade, the National Urban League movement has served more than 23 million individuals in key program areas, and together as affiliates, 246,000 people have been placed in jobs. 21,000 have purchased new homes. 8.3 million individuals have benefited from healthcare services. 3 million have benefited from education services, and 6.1 million have been mobilized in civic engagement and activism. This significant work could not be fulfilled without the immeasurable service and year-round dedication from our amazing staff. Day in and day out, our team works above and beyond the call of duty to ensure the Hampton Roads community's needs are not only met, but are thriving. In addition, nearly 300 young professionals and Guild members volunteer on behalf of our affiliate to help us achieve our goals. We're grateful. To all of you, we say thank you for your service. We are deeply appreciative of our corporate and community partners who invest, support our mission to empower Black and other minorities to become economically self-sustaining. Their investment in the Urban League of Hampton Roads is reinvested in the people and the communities we serve, and keeps our programs and services free and open to the public. Join me now as we share the vital role and impact the Urban League of Hampton Roads has made in the community in 2022.
I want to thank you for the incredible work that you do across financial wellness, education, employment, health, and most importantly, housing. Each act is a selfless one that represents real impact for real citizens of Hampton Roads. And with each person or family you help, we all become stronger.
That was wonderful. Congratulations to the Urban League of Hampton Roads for the great work they have accomplished in service to the Hampton Roads community. As an essential small Black-owned and Black-serving nonprofit organization, we must do all we can to support organizations like the Urban League of Hampton Roads to ensure they remain a steadfast organization to help those in need, often the most vulnerable in our community. It is now my pleasure to welcome the Honorable Bobby Dyer, Mayor for the City of Virginia Beach, to provide greetings.
It's a pleasure and honor to be here among you today to honor the memory of Reverend Dr. Martin Luther King, Jr. Dr. King earned his place in history by standing up for those who were neglected, who were abused, who were treated unjustly, who were discriminated against, who were told by word and violence that they were second-class citizens and were not entitled to the rights and freedom that all other Americans enjoyed. He inspired generations of Americans, especially African Americans, young and old alike, that deserve the same respect and opportunities and rights offered to other citizens throughout our great nation. His message was always, we can make this happen, but it must be through nonviolence, always. He paid a very steep price: harassment and threats against his family, unrelenting taunts and disrespect by many of the so-called establishment, even being jailed for merely standing up for the rights of many while continuing to preach nonviolence. Dr. King built his enduring legacy that not only do we honor today, but we will continue through the ages. I'm so glad that you're here today for such an important occasion. You are always welcome in our city, and we stand as you commemorate one of the most important dates in our history. May we continue to progress in our efforts of human-race relations and always remind ourselves that our best hope for the future is working with one another and treating each other with respect, kindness, and civility that is needed for us to adore as a great nation. I again thank you for the opportunity to be here, and may God bless each and every one of you.
It is with great pleasure to introduce Mike Creedon, Chief Operating Officer for Dollar Tree. I'm sure you'll agree with me that Dollar Tree is a household name and has become an integral part of the American family. Headquartered in Chesapeake, Virginia, Dollar Tree serves as North America's leading operator of discount variety stores and is where we can go to purchase affordable items for all aspects of our daily lives. From special occasions to basic necessities, Dollar Tree has continued to meet the needs of families for more than 60 years, a reflection of their commitment to improve the quality of life for others. Dollar Tree is investing in all of the Urban League affiliates across the country. The Urban League of Hampton Roads is deeply appreciative for Dollar Tree's commitment to serve as a perpetual sponsor for the annual MLK Community Leaders Program, thus demonstrating their dedication to support their community right here at home. Ladies and gentlemen, please welcome Mike Creedon.
Hi, I'm Mike Creedon, Chief Operating Officer for Dollar Tree. It is an honor to represent our more than 200,000 Dollar Tree and Family Dollar associates across the United States and Canada. We are proud to serve as the presenting sponsor for this year's Urban League of Hampton Roads 39th Annual Martin Luther King Jr. Community Leaders Event. Today, we stand with you in honoring the dream of Martin Luther King Jr. On this third Monday of January, to commemorate the legacy of Dr. King as an inspirational leader who propelled a nationwide movement promoting the importance of equality and inclusion for all citizens. His leadership and sacrifices were instrumental in this nation's progress toward equality and dismantling segregation during a very challenging time in our nation's history. Dr. King's legacy continues to serve as a beacon that inspires communities and generations of leaders to continue the enduring fight for equality. As a leading value retailer, we operate nearly 16,000 stores across the United States and Canada under the banners of Dollar Tree and Family Dollar. We value and respect the rich diversity of our associates and our customers. Our goal is to help people live better by giving them equal access to a wide variety of value-priced products where they live. We strive to help our customers do more and inspire them to creatively celebrate all of life's moments with family and friends, whether big or small. Our goal is to help the communities we serve to be happier, healthier, and more prosperous. Dollar Tree and Family Dollar proudly support the Urban League of Hampton Roads and the Martin Luther King Jr. Community Leaders Awards, celebrating those who exemplify service, demonstrate the values modeled by Dr. King, and make significant contributions to the Hampton Roads community. Congratulations to this year's MLK Community Leader Award recipients.
Nothing gives me greater pleasure than to have the opportunity to introduce our next guest speaker, who is an alumnus of the great Norfolk State University, the Honorable Mayor Shannon Glover for the City of Portsmouth. Mayor Glover will introduce and make a special presentation to our keynote speaker, Vice Admiral Kevin Scott. Ladies and gentlemen, please welcome Mayor Glover.
Hello, everyone. It is my esteemed pleasure and honor to be with you today. The purpose of me being here is to recognize Vice Admiral Kevin Scott, retired. On behalf of the citizens of Portsmouth and the Portsmouth City Council, I'm going to read the proclamation. Whereas, on January 16th, 2023, Vice Admiral Kevin Scott, retired, will be honored as keynote speaker of the 39th Annual Martin Luther King Jr. Community Leaders Awards. And whereas, Scott is a native of Portsmouth, Virginia, and New York City, New York, and was designated a naval aviator in 1984. He is a graduate of the State University of New York at Buffalo, the Naval Postgraduate School, U.S. Naval War College, and the Joint Forces College. And whereas, at sea, he served as an aircraft division officer and maintenance test pilot, helicopter mine countermeasure squadron, aircraft handler aboard USS Incheon, and HM-14 operations officer, detachment officer in charge. He commanded 14 HM-14 commanded mine countermeasure squadron as Commodore, and later served as Commander Expeditionary Strike Group, ESG-2, and whereas ashore, Scott served as Air Combat Placement Officer, Bureau of Naval Personnel Operations Officer, Commander Tactical Wing Atlantic, Military Aide to the Vice President, Current Operations Chief, Division Chief, Joint Forces Command, Director of Aviation Officer, Distribution Division, Naval Personnel Command, Acting Director, Expeditionary Warfare Division, Washington, D.C., Deputy Commander, U.S. Naval Forces, U.S. Central Command and Director, Joint Fleet Operations, U.S. Fleet Forces Command, Suffolk, Virginia. And whereas Scott assumed duty as Vice Director of Joint Forces Development on the Joint Staff, Washington, D.C., in July 2016. In that position, he oversaw the integration of joint training, concept development, operational analysis, and lessons learned activities to achieve the Chairman's vision for Joint Force 2020. Now, therefore, I, Shannon E. Glover, Mayor of the City of Portsmouth, Virginia, do hereby proclaim Monday, January 16th, 2023, as Vice Admiral Kevin Scott Day, Honorary Day in the city of Portsmouth, and do hereby deem it an honor and pleasure to recognize these contributions. In witness whereof, and on behalf of the Portsmouth City Council, I have hereunto set my hand and caused the seal of the city of Portsmouth, Virginia, to be affixed this 16th day of January, 2023. Thank you.
Mayor Glover, thank you so much for that amazing honor. I can't thank you enough and the citizens of Portsmouth for this great honor. As I think back on my early days in Portsmouth, never could I have imagined to be presented with such a proclamation. And neither I, nor my friends, nor my mama would have anticipated either, but I look forward to showing her that certificate this evening. Ladies and gentlemen, I'm Vice Admiral Kevin Scott, and I'm honored to be your keynote speaker here today on behalf of the Urban League of Hampton Roads. We're here to commemorate and reaffirm our commitment to the legacy, to the history of Dr. King as relates to the spirit and moral compass of our country. The role of the Hampton Roads Urban League here in this endeavor is not only to reaffirm and push forward the commitments of Dr. King, but it's also to bring us together, to network and to focus our efforts on the investments, key partnerships, and the spirit of volunteerism that we are looking to get out of all of you here today. Gil and the entire Hampton Roads Urban League team, I want to thank you all for this great opportunity to be here. As I was thinking about today, one thing just jumped forward in my mind, and it was a simple statement, which is, I stand here today as a clear representation of Dr. King's dream. His dream come to life. Now, a little bit about me. I was born to a single mom in Brooklyn, New York. My mother didn't have enough means to raise me properly, and so she brought me home to her home, Portsmouth, Virginia, to live with my grandmother, my grandfather, and my uncles. It was a warm and loving household, and my mother at the time was a live-in housekeeper for a family that lived on Long Island. She came up as often as she could, but often not enough in her opinion. But that entire family structure is and remains the foundation of every success I've enjoyed in this life. Her efforts, her sacrifices, and that of my family members are what's key to my success. The next thing I would say, aside from family, is the key to my success, is Dr. King. I was born in the 1960s, and so I was only 3 years old when they stood on the footsteps of the Lincoln Memorial in Washington, D.C. on the March on Washington. Just a few years after that, I remember my family gathered in the living room talking about not only that day, but the days that followed and the struggles that African Americans were facing here to get an equal piece of the American dream. Now, my grandfather unfortunately passed away in 1967, and as luck would have it, my mother was able to get a job at the local utility, Con Edison, in New York City. And so my grandmother, myself, and my uncle packed up and moved to Beverly. We moved to New York City into a tiny apartment, probably no bigger than a closet. But it was full of love and it was full of dreams. Now, I've always been a dreamer. In that little apartment, I dreamed of what I could be and what I could become. I moved from Portsmouth, Virginia to New York City, and I moved from what was a segregated society at the time, though not legally segregated as laws started to come down, but it was segregated nonetheless in terms of social norms. And this kid was dropped into 161st Street in Manhattan with probably no less than 16 different ethnicities and nations. And it just lit up my mind in terms of what is possible. And it's probably why I joined the Navy. But I was a dreamer. And I lived through those times where Dr. King was telling me I could be what I could be. I was going to be judged on the content of my character. And I went forward, and I believed in that 100%, as I still do today. Now, the Navy was a natural fit. And so I went to public schools, and I'm a public school kid. And I aspired to go to college. I didn't know what I wanted to do at the time. I wasn't locked in on a specific thing. But I knew three things actually. I wanted to make my mama happy and proud. I wanted to do something special, something that meant something more than myself. And I wanted to help people. And so for me, the natural fit was something that was something of service. I didn't know what it was at the time. So I went off to college with no direct compass. I think I started studying computer science. But that very first semester, and I'll speed this up because I don't want to bore you here with this story, but it's a critical story. So I am in my first semester in college at the University of Buffalo. Is 8 feet of snow on the ground, and I'm not happy. I want to go back home. My plan was just kind of waffling. And I was on a city bus going to campus, and I looked up, and there was a advertisement for the U.S. Navy. There was a pilot in an outfit, and it said Fly Navy. I got off the bus, didn't go to class, went to the bus stop, and rapped on the bus door, and it was freezing cold, and I had a big hoodie on. And the lady that ran the bus opened the bus door and said, "What do you want?" And I said, "I gotta get room." She said, "Come on in here. It's too cold. Come on in here." So I went in the bus, took my hood off, says, "What do you want?" I said, I need to get to the federal building because I'm going to be a Navy pilot. I said, "I'm going to be a Navy pilot." She says, "Well, why do you want to be that for?" She says, "Because I want to do something. This is special." And so she was the last bus, so she called up in the front bus, and the guy in the front bus she says, "Hey, Charlie, I got this kid that needs to get down to the federal building." She says, "Well, why do you want to get to the federal building?" He asked her, "Why do you want to get to the federal building?" She looks at the mic, she looks at him, she looks at the mic, she looks at me, and she squeezes it with a sly smile, and she says, "Because he's going to be a Navy pilot." So, ladies and gentlemen, I tell you that story because here I stand here before you today as a retired 3-star admiral, have lived truly the American dream. And when I think of her and I think of that lady, I think of you. I think of all of you in this audience. The lives that you touch each and every day, the promises that you can keep, and the empowerment that you can give those in need. Now, at the other end of the spectrum, as we look at making a difference in our communities, there's also a global impact to what the Urban League of Hampton Roads and the National Urban League is doing. And so I want to just give you another quick story about what it actually means to others around the world. So I was the emergency action officer for Vice President Gore carrying the football. And we were doing a visit to South Africa. We met senior leaders. We met Nelson Mandela, which one of the greatest highlights of my life. And it was a great trip. But as I was traveling around South Africa, I did see the issues, the major issues that the South Africans were dealing with as they coming out of apartheid. But as we were wrapping up, and as we do in the military, we wrapping up, we're ready to get going and pack up. We were loading the aircraft. And as a military aide, I'm typically the last one that boards the plane. And so as we were getting everybody on board, I just looked over my shoulder and I saw a group of South Africans in uniform and out of uniform, senior and junior folks that were off on the side up against a storage shack. And they just had this weird look on their face. And it looked odd to me, and as we all do, we take odd looks a certain way, and I just wanted to make sure that that we had everything buttoned up. There was nothing that was left out. And so I just walked over there real quickly and I addressed him. I said, "Is everything okay? You guys look like there's something wrong." And one of the black South Africans stepped forward, and as he stepped forward, one of the white South Africans, a senior officer, stepped forward. And they said to me as they looked over my shoulder, they said, "We've never seen anything like that." And I thought, what, the airplane, the jet? They go, "No, you and all your people. We've never seen a sight of so many people of different races, men and women backgrounds, at such a high level, working together in the way that you are." And that was it. I stared them in the eyes, they stared me in the eyes. I smiled, I wished them well. And I think in my heart I said, "Keep fighting." And I walked back to the airplane. But as the jet went wheels up and we took off, I looked back down at the airport and I thought about us. I thought about you. I thought about what you would have thought if you had heard what I'd heard. What you would have thought, what appreciation you would have about the potential of what we have within our own community. And so again, this is why we're here. We're not here just to commemorate Martin Luther King. We're here to live it. This is what this Urban League is all about. Making a difference and moving forward. I want to tell you that the road for me hasn't been tough or hasn't been easy. It has been tough at times. But I will say, it brings to mind when I was in need and I was looking for an answer, and sometimes I wasn't feeling that I was getting treated the way I needed to be treated in the Navy and beyond. I remember the quote from Dr. King. "Darkness cannot drive out darkness. Only light can do that. Hate cannot drive out hate. Only love can do that." And that quote has inspired me since my very first days in the United States Navy and pushed me to make a change. And I just want you to remember one thing that I learned in all these years. Your excellence is not enough. And what I mean by that is you can be and you can excel and you could be at the top of your game. You can be at the top of your game. But if you're not touching lives, if you're not reaching out and making a difference, nothing happens. I learned that, and I'm passing it on to you. So on behalf of Gil and the entire Urban League here of Hampton Roads and the National Urban League, I want to thank you all for being part of this very special day. I'd like to end with one final quote that has moved me for many, many years. And as we now face struggles at home, in addition to overseas, I want you to remember that we shall overcome because the arc of the moral universe is long, but it bends towards justice. We shall overcome because the arc of the moral universe is long, but it bends towards justice. Ladies and gentlemen, thank you all for being part of this very special morning, this very special day. And let us not just remember the life and legacy of Dr. King. Let's continue to live it. Thank you very much.
Congressman Bobby Scott has represented Virginia's 3rd Congressional District in the U.S. House of Representatives since 1993. Prior to his service in Congress, he served 15 years in the Virginia General Assembly. Congressman Bobby Scott served as the chairman of the Committee on Education and Labor, where he advances an agenda that improves equity in education, frees students from the burdens of crippling debt, protects and expands access to affordable health care, ensures workers have a safe workplace where they can earn a living wage free from discrimination, and guarantees seniors have a secure and dignified retirement. Congressman Scott also serves on the Committee on the Budget, where he is a leading voice on fiscal policy and reducing the deficit. As a former member of the Committee of the Judiciary, he is a leading advocate for reforming our nation's broken criminal justice system. Congressman Scott resides in Newport News, Virginia, and is a graduate of Harvard College and the Boston College Law School. He's also served in the Massachusetts National Guard and the United States Army Reserve. Ladies and gentlemen, let's congratulate Congressman Bobby Scott as the recipient of the 2023 MLK Community Leaders Award for Education.
Thank you, April, for your very kind remarks, and thank you, Urban League of Hampton Roads, for this honor. Ladies and gentlemen, as we celebrate Martin Luther King's holiday, we must recognize all of the good work of the National Urban League when it comes to making Martin Luther King's dream a reality. Creating equal opportunity in education has always been the best strategy for achieving the beloved community. Although the change in leadership in the U.S. House means that I will no longer be the chair of the Committee on Education and Labor, I will continue to fight to improve educational opportunities at all levels. In the last Congress, during the American Rescue Plan, we put more money into K-12 education than any legislation in the history of the United States. And we did that, and we distributed the money according to the Title I formula, where poverty was the greatest factor. That meant that those areas that have chronically been underfunded got the most money. Historically black colleges and universities got unprecedented funding in the last few years. In fact, in a year and a half, they got more money than they'd received in the previous 10 years combined. Norfolk State and Hampton both received over $100 million. Pell Grants received significant increases. And government needs to go forward to address the problem of student loans and make sure that we invest heavily in early childhood education. Educational equity is an ongoing problem, and that's why I'm proud to recognize the Urban League not only for recognizing the problem, but doing so much to solve it. So again, thank you for this honor, and thank you very much for celebrating Martin Luther King's birthday.
Sean Avery serves as the president and CEO of the Hampton Roads Workforce Council. In this role, Sean provides leadership for strategic initiatives, business and industry development, educational initiatives for the largest workforce development board in the Commonwealth of Virginia. In addition to being the recipient of the Urban League of Hampton Roads 2023 MLK Community Leaders Award for Employment, Mr. Avery is the recipient of many awards, such as Inside Business Top 40 Under 40 in Hampton Roads, a Community Builders Award from the Hampton Roads Community Action Program, and serves on various boards and commissions, including the Go Virginia Regional Council, Hampton Roads Chamber, and the Hampton Roads Alliance. Under Sean's leadership, the Hampton Roads Workforce Council was one of 32 industry-led workforce development organizations to be awarded funding as part of the U.S. American Rescue Plan to invest in innovative approaches to workforce development that will secure job opportunities for more than 50,000 Americans. The Hampton Roads Workforce Council has partnered with the Urban League of Hampton Roads and historically black colleges and universities throughout Virginia and North Carolina to help diversify the talent pipeline of maritime industry. Ladies and gentlemen, let's congratulate Sean Avery as the recipient of the 2023 MLK Community Leaders Awards for Employment.
I want to thank the Urban League of Hampton Roads for this recognition for being one of the recipients of the 2023 Martin Luther King Community Leaders Award. It truly is an honor to be among the other winners this year. While I appreciate this award personally, I will definitely be sharing it with the other staff members at the Workforce Council and all of our partners. Workforce development is truly a team effort, and I just get the lucky job of being the quarterback for a winning team. Valued partnerships with organizations such as the Urban League of Hampton Roads are essential to make sure that we give individuals in this region the opportunities to succeed. It is also essential that we partner together to make sure that we have the talent in the region to be successful. It again is a true team effort. So again, I want to thank the Urban League of Hampton Roads for this award. It truly is an honor to be receiving it. Thank you.
Hello, I'm Governor Glenn Youngkin. What an honor it is to be with the Urban League of Hampton Roads to virtually celebrate the life and legacy of Reverend Dr. Martin Luther King Jr. He was an extraordinary man that transformed society as we know it, inspiring generations from years past, leaving an unmistakable impact on our generation now and all of those yet to come. One of the single most consequential people in the history of America, Dr. King led with purpose. He recognized the great injustices of intolerance and bigotry beset across our nation and made it his mission to bend the arc of the moral universe towards justice. Dr. King's legacy should serve as a reminder that no matter how divided our nation may feel at times, we can come together for a common future. His life of service brought us together in a time when it was easy to be filled with hate and anger. He taught us to love and forgive those who may mistreat us or even hate us. His courageous fight for justice, unity, and peace inspires us today to serve the better angels in our hearts rather than fall prey to temptations of anger, resentment, unforgiveness, and malice. Today, we are charged to do our part in paying forward this generation's portion of America's promissory note. That note being a promise that every Virginian and every American, in the words of Dr. King, that all men, yes, black men as well as white men, would be guaranteed the inalienable rights of life, liberty, and the pursuit of happiness. He provoked everyone to live a life of purpose, to treat everyone with respect. And in the spirit of that unity and respect, last November, we announced breakthrough tutoring programs between the Urban League of Hampton Roads, Greater Richmond, local school divisions, Norfolk State, Hampton University, Virginia State University, and Virginia Union University. Together with HBCU students, we are building new pathways to success by providing paid opportunities to help high school and middle school students. Thank you for your partnership so that our children will have the educational support, the professional capabilities, and something that I know in my life, coaches that help children read. We aim to open up the future for the next generation, a future that will open up the dreams of all our children, a dream that was birthed by a nation on ideals that it clearly did not live up to. A dream in a nation that deprived liberty for the enslaved, treating them without dignity, rather than men and women made in the image of God. A dream in a nation that has learned to fly the air like birds, swim the sea like fishes, but had yet to learn the simple act of walking the earth like brothers and sisters. And in a nation that admits its mistakes, grows and evolves, we are committed to telling our unique story accurately and honestly. We are committed to telling all of our history, the good and the bad, on this road to delivering the promises of democracy for all. Dr. King charged us to leave our mark, to carry the mantle of responsibility for our time, to open the rich vaults of opportunity in our land, and to carry forth the scales of justice for all people. As your 74th governor, I'm committed to doing just that by providing all Virginians with an opportunity to higher paying jobs, a world-class education, access to the right help right now in the midst of a behavioral health crisis, safer communities, accessible and affordable homes, and a Virginia where this generation and the next generation can live out Dr. King's dream. And I hope that his spirit is what motivates us to take on the challenges ahead of us together. It's what Virginians deserve and expect. Together, we are all responsible in handing over his mantle to the next generation. This is our moment. Let's rise to meet it. Thank you. Thank you for allowing me to join you today to celebrate the life and legacy of an extraordinary man, the Reverend Dr. Martin Luther King Jr. May God bless you.
And may God bless our Commonwealth of Virginia. Thank you.
Senator Louise Lucas is a Portsmouth native and one of the first women to graduate from the Norfolk Naval Shipyard Apprentice Program, where she became its first female shipfitter in 1971. Later, she worked as the command's Federal Women's Program Manager and as an Equal Employment Opportunity Officer. She studied vocational industrial education and urban affairs at Norfolk State University, earning a Bachelor of Science in 1971 and a Master of Arts in 1982. A respected entrepreneur, Senator Lucas is also the president and CEO of Lucas Lodge and other related businesses providing residential and health care services for intellectually disabled adults. In 1984, Senator Lucas became the first black woman to win election to the Portsmouth City Council. In 1991, Senator Lucas was elected to represent Southeastern Virginia's 18th District in the Senate of Virginia. And in December of 2019, she became the first woman and the first African American elected as its president pro tempore. Throughout her career, Senator Lucas has advocated legislation related to voting rights restoration, reducing firearm purchases and expanding background checks, redistricting, regulation of casino gaming, and expansion of health care for Virginians. Ladies and gentlemen, let's congratulate Virginia's own trailblazer, Senator Louise Lucas, as a well-deserved recipient of the 2023 MLK Community Leaders Awards for Finance.
Hello, I am L. Louise Lucas, and I would like to thank the Urban League of Hampton Roads for the recognition for being selected as a recipient for the 2023 MLK Community Leaders Award. As an essential leader and member of the Finance Committee and throughout my career, I have been an advocate for all of our citizens, but in particular, those most vulnerable, those who more than anyone need the support of organizations like the Urban League of Hampton Roads, whose mission is to enable African Americans and others to secure economic self-reliance, parity, power, and civil rights. I applaud the Urban League for the unrelenting commitment to the Hampton Roads region and will graciously accept this award on behalf of the citizens we collectively serve. And I thank you so very much.
William Downey began his career at Riverside Health System in May of 1981 as an administrative extern upon completion of his undergraduate degree from James Madison University and became president and CEO in 2012. Over the years, Bill has been involved in supporting numerous community organizations, including serving as a board member of the Hampton Roads Economic Development Authority, the Virginia Chamber of Commerce, An Achievable Dream, the Virginia Hospital and Healthcare Association, Greater Peninsula Now, among many others, and is past chair of the United Way of the Virginia Peninsula and the Virginia Living Museum. In 2018, Bill Downey was recognized at the 50th Annual Peninsula Humanitarian Awards presented by the Peninsula Chapter of Virginia Center for Inclusive Communities. The awards honored individuals and organizations promoting respect and understanding among people of diverse racial, ethnic, and religious backgrounds in the Peninsula community. Just recently, Bill Downey was recognized by the Hampton Roads Community Action Program with their 2020 Community Builders Award, which highlights individuals who make a positive impact on the Hampton Roads region, and by the VCU Department of Health Administration with their Lifetime Service and Achievement Award. A reflection of Riverside Health System's commitment to diversity, equity, and inclusion, Bill Downey created the position of Chief Diversity Officer, held by their first African-American woman, Toya Sosa, who also serves on the board of the Urban League of Hampton Roads. Riverside is able to strengthen their investment in under-resourced communities to help address inequities in health care. Ladies and gentlemen, let's congratulate Bill Downey as the recipient of the 2023 MLK Community Leaders Award for Health Care.
Thank you to the Urban League of Hampton Roads for this incredible honor, and congratulations to all of today's winners. First, let me start with a thank you to the Urban League for their incredible partnership. Riverside is so pleased to work not only on the programmatic efforts around education, workforce, food as medicine, but also on the relationships, the connectivity that this helps us build in underserved communities. Today, as we celebrate and remember Dr. Martin Luther King, we think about all of the incredible work that he did, how he lived his life, how he used his voice to help recognize and improve the lives of those who were not in the mainstream, who were not able to enjoy so many privileges that others were able to enjoy. When you think about the time in which Dr. King lived, it was a very difficult time, and yet he always worked to unite and strengthen people, especially those who were not able to participate, who were suffering from disparity, who were suffering from inequality. In Dr. King's Nobel Peace Prize award acceptance speech, he used majestic words to talk about his belief and his abiding faith in America, his audacious faith in the future of mankind. But Dr. King also used some practical words when he talked about how we needed to live. And he said, and I quote, "Sooner or later, all the people of this world are going to have to develop and discover a way to live in peace. Let us remember and let us live that vision." So today, on behalf of the 10,000 members of the Riverside family who each and every day care for others as they would care for those they love, I humbly accept this MLK Community Leaders Award. Thank you.
Hello, everyone. Senator Tim Kaine here. I'm sorry I can't be with you in person, but it's an honor to join the Urban League by video this morning for the 39th Annual Martin Luther King Jr. Community Leaders Award, which is an event to honor individuals and groups who demonstrated the values modeled by Dr. King and made significant contributions to the Hampton Roads community. This year, the Urban League of Hampton Roads is recognizing leaders in education, employment, finance, health, housing, philanthropy, and lifetime achievement. Additionally, the Urban League is highlighting a young professional and guild member of the year. These individuals have contributed significantly throughout the year in service to the Urban League and embody the spirit of Dr. King. Martin Luther King Jr. once said he wanted to be remembered as someone who tried to give his life serving others. The recipients of today's awards exemplify a philosophy of service to others, and I'm honored to offer words of congratulations today. To the award recipients, thanks for your dedication to making our community a better place. Your service and your efforts are to be commended and celebrated. Finally, I also want to recognize the Urban League of Hampton Roads for your role in celebrating and honoring those who make significant community contributions. The mission of the Urban League of Hampton Roads is vital, providing services and programs in education, employment, health, and housing to Hampton Roads communities, boosting opportunities, addressing inequities, and eliminating the racial wealth gap. Thank you for your work throughout the year. Please enjoy the morning's celebration, and congratulations again to all the honorees.
Our next MLK Award recipient is a third-generation builder. Steve Lawson is the chairman of the Lawson Companies, a multi-family builder, developer, and manager based in the Hampton Roads region of Virginia. In 2022, the company was proud to celebrate 50 years of building and operating affordable housing. As the chairman of Lawson, Steve oversees a team managing almost 5,000 apartments and $50 million in annual construction and development. Steve earned an undergraduate degree in engineering from Duke University and worked in that field for several years. He later returned to Duke for a master's degree in business prior to joining the company in 1993. Steve has advocated for many years in support of equitable and affordable housing, serving on the board of nonprofit Housing Forward Virginia and on the Rental Advisory Council of Virginia Housing, our statewide housing finance agency. For more than 2 decades, Steve Lawson has also promoted strong national affordable housing policy through numerous multifamily leadership positions with the National Association of Home Builders. He has provided expert testimony to the United States Congress on 3 occasions and also briefed the last 3 chairs of the Federal Reserve concerning ongoing challenges the industry faces. In 2019, Steve Lawson was recognized with a Human Rights Award by the Virginia Beach Human Rights Commission for his work building truly inclusive housing in the resort area. This community, Seaside Harbor, not only provides much-needed affordable housing, but also serves clients with developmental and physical disabilities. Seaside Harbor was later featured in a Department of Housing and Urban Development case study demonstrating innovation in affordable housing. To advance their mission to have an impact in the community, Lawson has partnered with numerous nonprofit organizations, including Samaritan House, Hope House Foundation, and Volunteers of America. Among many other accolades, Communities Built by Lawson won very prestigious National Association of Home Builders Pillars of the Industry Award in both 2019 and 2021. Ladies and gentlemen, let's congratulate Steve Lawson as the recipient of the 2023 MLK Community Leaders Award for Housing.
Thank you, April. And I'd like to thank Gilbert Bland, President and CEO of the Urban League of Hampton Roads, and also all the Urban League employees for the work you do every day to empower communities and change lives in Hampton Roads. I'd also like to congratulate my fellow recipients and thank each one of them for their contributions advancing the mission of the Urban League. I'm honored to be even mentioned in the same context as Dr. King and accept this award with the utmost humility. And I can only accept this on behalf of our entire team at Lawson because I know that my small footprints are made so much bigger by all the great people I'm so fortunate to work with. In 1972, now more than 50 years ago, my father founded our company to build and manage apartment homes for families. He instilled in us a duty to have a real impact in the community, and we strive to do that by creating top quality affordable housing throughout the state. I'm incredibly proud of the Lawson team. We're an honest and hardworking group who share a strong set of core values and believe in our purpose to positively impact people. With almost 5,000 apartments and another 2,000 in development, our employees provide safe and affordable homes for thousands of families that need them most. We're all, of course, aware of just how hard Dr. King fought for racial justice and equality, but he was also absolutely instrumental in the fair housing movement. The Fair Housing Act, which prohibits discrimination in the sale and rental of housing, was signed into law just 1 week after Dr. King was assassinated. President Lyndon B. Johnson hailed the act as a fitting testament to Dr. King's lifelong work. Our country has made progress, but we all know there's much more to do. On this day, honoring the legacy of the Reverend Dr. Martin Luther King, Jr., may we all be inspired to continue the fight for housing equality and racial justice. Everyone in our community deserves the opportunity to have a safe and affordable place to call home. It's not just common sense, it's smart policy, because housing is truly the foundation upon which so many other aspects of life are built. Once again, thank you for the honor. We are eternally grateful and will always cherish this award.
It is truly an honor to introduce our next recipient, Reverend Dr. Joseph Green, for the Lifetime Achievement Award for the 39th Annual MLK Community Leaders Award. Father Green has left an indelible mark throughout the Hampton Roads region across many generations. Father Green was the first African American to earn his theology degree from Tennessee's University of the South and was ordained to the Episcopal ministry in 1953. He served several churches in South Carolina and was the chaplain of St. Augustine's College in Raleigh, North Carolina, before he came to Norfolk. Father Green was rector of Grace Episcopal Church in Norfolk for 30 years, retiring in 1994. He was an example pastor to his parishioners and community at large, promoting a servant ministry. Under his leadership, Grace Church housed the first Head Start program in Tidewater and developed more much-needed programs like the Plumb Line Ministry Housing, Alcoholics Anonymous program, a food pantry and homeless programs. He was active in the Norfolk Committee for the Improvement of Education, the Tidewater Association of Black School Educators, worked to integrate the downtown YMCA, and co-founded and led a Human Relations Council and supported the War on Poverty and the March on Washington. Father Green's community service is legendary. He served 4 years on the Norfolk School Board, 20 years on the Norfolk City Council, and 10 years as the Vice Mayor of Norfolk. As he labored faithfully to the betterment of Norfolk, his leadership firmly stressed the causes of civil rights for African Americans and fair play for all. He always kept before the council the need to maintain vigilance in hiring and purchasing practices. He moved for the inclusion of a public housing tenant on the NRHA Commission and led efforts to promote the TRT mass transit and establishment of the downtown Tidewater Community College campus. Father Green created and chaired the First Church Street Huntersville Committee, which promoted 3 new shopping centers, the widening of Church Street, office building renovations, and substantial upgrades in Huntersville. He was successful in leading the Crispus Attucks Cultural Committee in raising $8 million to renovate and restore the historic Attucks Theater, which had a grand reopening in 2004. Father Green has served on the boards of and supports many organizations like the Urban League of Hampton Roads, United Way of Southampton, the NAACP, the Chrysler Museum, Phi Beta Sigma Fraternity, and others. At 96, Father Green continues to be in the forefront of efforts for justice and peace, for respecting the dignity of every human being, for reconciliation through healing, for nurturing those in need, for building trust and openness for the inclusivity, not exclusivity. He is a man of God, willing to serve his people wherever and however he can. Ladies and gentlemen, let's congratulate Father Joseph Green as the recipient of the 2023 MLK Community Leaders Lifetime Achievement Award. Accepting this prestigious award on Father Green's behalf is Gil Bland.
We were privileged to have provided this honor with Father Green, who stated how much he deeply appreciated being remembered with the distance brought on by the COVID pandemic. Weeks ago, I spent over an hour talking with Father Green about Hampton Roads, Black history, world travel, his achievements and legacy, his family and mine. We laughed and shared stories about old times. I join with the many who call Father Green and his wife, Evelyn, our dear friends. One of my fondest memories with Father Green were our summer travels to the state of Maine to spend a week of camping. We were part of the historic Cambridge Gun and Rod Club. It was a camp whose existence spanned decades, including the esteemed historian and civil rights activist Dr. E.B. Du Bois, as a regular camper as far back as 1926. I also relished our times discussing higher education and his engagement with his favorite St. Augustine College. Sadly, in the last few days, when we began the process of taping this event, Father Green took ill. So I am accepting this award for him and his beloved wife, Evelyn, and all the countless lives his spiritual leadership, wisdom, service, and deep compassion for community were touched and enhanced. But the honor was all his, a life extraordinarily well lived.
One of the things Virginia is known for is its love for peanuts. For 5 generations, Birdsong Peanuts has delivered delicious peanuts to manufacturers around the world since 1914. When founder T.H. Birdsong opened his country store over a century ago in Cortland, Virginia, little did he know that his modest market would grow into a thriving corporation that has grown steadily for 5 generations. Located in Suffolk, Virginia, 3 generations of Birdsongs are active in its management, and T.H. Birdsong's example by participating in community and civic activities. Their commitment to quality and service has proven successful not only in the peanut business, but also in community relationships, both at home and around the globe. George Birdsong is a great example of this continued commitment to community and why he is being recognized as the philanthropic recipient for the 2023 MLK Community Leaders Award today. George Birdsong is the CEO and General Counsel for the Birdsong Corporation, who went to work for Birdsong Peanuts in 1965 as Secretary-Treasurer and held various executive positions before becoming CEO in 1999. A reflection of his service to humanity, George has been the recipient of numerous distinguished service awards over the years, such as the National Conference of Christian and Jews Humanitarian Award, Suffolk Redevelopment and Housing Authority Lifetime Achievement Award, Volunteer Hampton Roads Lenora Matthews Lifetime Achievement Award, the Darden Award for Hampton Roads Regional Leadership, Junior Achievement Hall of Fame, Operation Smile John Connor Humanitarian Award, and many, many others. Not only does Birdsong Corporation's efforts to improve the quality of life for the Hampton Roads region, but their reach is also global. Hunger kills more children worldwide than AIDS, malaria, and tuberculosis combined. In Africa, 1 child dies every 6 seconds from the effects of malnutrition. In an effort to combat childhood malnutrition, Birdsong has partnered with Project Peanut Butter to increase production and distribution of ready-to-use therapeutic food called RUTF. RUTF is a peanut-based paste made up of peanuts and micronutrients that has revolutionized the treatment of malnutrition in children throughout Africa. Recognized by the World Health Organization as an essential medicine, ladies and gentlemen, let's congratulate George Birdsong as the philanthropic recipient of the Urban League of Hampton Roads 2023 MLK Community Leaders Award.
It is certainly an honor to be present for this Urban League celebration of Martin Luther King Day here in the Hampton Roads area. I am being recognized as the recipient of the 2023 Philanthropy Achievement Award, but I realize I'm accepting it on behalf of the entire Birdsong family and Birdsong Peanuts. As one individual or one company, you can't do but so much in the philanthropic world. However, I am pleased to add my little candle and our company's candle to all the candles that have been lit before, because together we are honoring and highlighting the teachings of Dr. King for equity and social justice. Having been recognized for this small part in philanthropy, my favorite quote of Dr. King regarding the philanthropy subject is as follows, quote, "Philanthropy is commendable, but it must not cause the philanthropist to overlook the circumstances of economic injustice, which makes philanthropy necessary," unquote. I think that is a very essential quote. I know that even though our philanthropy is good and may be from good and noble and righteous motivations, our charitable contributions cannot keep up with all the demand for it. So my resolve is to increase opportunities and access for all who in the past may not have been given their deserved opportunity. I was in Washington, D.C. on October the 16th, 1995, the day of the Million Man March. I was asked by many that day if I supported the march. I answered that I was actually in Washington on peanut business, but that I supported the march. And the main thing I was interested in was that the march be conducted peacefully, because I knew that's what Dr. King would want. I believe that the evolution of society is toward social justice and equal opportunity. And I'm just pleased to be here today to be a part of this movement that Dr. King essentially started. I'm honored today to light my little candle and the candle for our corporation in support of Dr. King today. Thank you.
Hi, I'm Virginia Senator Mark Warner. I first of all want to congratulate the Hampton Roads Urban League for 39 years of holding this event that honors the legacy of Dr. Martin Luther King Jr., whose commitments to justice and peace were heard not only all around this country, but all around the world. We all know that it literally took until the year 2000 before our nation finally honored Dr. King's legacy with a national holiday. And while we can all celebrate the progress that has been made, we all need to acknowledge that Dr. King's vision that everyone in this country should be judged by the content of their character and not their color of their skin, that we still have progress to be made. So I hope today, as you honor so many community leaders around Hampton Roads, and I want to again say to the Urban League, looking over the list of these leaders, most all of them I've worked with, you have chosen well, that these individuals who constantly want to move our Commonwealth and Hampton Roads further along are great recipients, and I know will continue to honor Dr. King's legacy. While, again, progress has been made, we've seen too many actions through the challenges of COVID, and some in this country want to take us backwards, that the fight for that justice and freedom that Dr. King always evoked is still in progress. We've all got more work to do. My hope is, in the United States Senate, I can continue to be a champion for equal rights for all. I hope that we can continue to have our business leaders and community leaders advance particularly young people's opportunities in Hampton Roads, in Virginia, and around the country. Again, to the Urban League, 39 years you've been doing this, great job. My hope is that I'll be able to attend in future years. Thanks again, and congratulations.
Good morning. I am Patricia Gibson, and I am honored to serve as the president of the Urban League of Hampton Roads Young Professionals. Today, as we celebrate the legacy of Dr. Martin Luther King Jr., here are just a few facts about the significant impact Dr. King made during his young adult life. At the age of 26, Dr. King was elected as the president of the Montgomery Improvement Association. At the age of 34, Dr. King gave his famous I Have a Dream speech in front of more than 200,000 people in Washington, D.C. At the age of 35, Dr. King received the Nobel Peace Prize of 1964 and announced he would turn over the prize money of $54,123 to the furtherance of the civil rights movement. At the age of 36, Dr. King led thousands of nonviolent demonstrators to the steps of the Capitol in Montgomery, Alabama, after a 5-day, 54-mile march from Selma, Alabama, to exercise their constitutional right to vote. At the age of 39, Dr. King was in Memphis to support a sanitation workers' strike, and while on his way to dinner, his life was taken. The Urban League of Hampton Roads Young Professionals are ages 21 to 40, serving as the auxiliary to helping to close the racial wealth gap by volunteering their time and talent to the Urban League of Hampton Roads. Today, at the 39th Annual Martin Luther King Community Leaders Awards, we are recognizing one of our young professionals for dedicating over 60 hours of volunteer service in the preparation, execution, and production of the most impactful event of the year in 2022, our Juneteenth Freedom Day celebration. This event provided access for members of the community to learn about the free services provided by the Urban League of Hampton Roads, gave local artists a platform to share their talents in front of over 5,000 people, and engaged Black entrepreneurs to promote and sell their business services, resulting in profitable outcomes. As the president of the Urban League of Hampton Roads Young Professionals, it is an honor and privilege to recognize Markel Bonds as our top Young Professional of the Year.
I would like to thank the Urban League of Hampton Roads for recognizing me as the Young Professional of the Year at this 39th Annual Martin Luther King Jr. Community Leaders Award Ceremony. It is a blessing to be honored among such a distinctive group of leaders that guide our community, especially from such a prestigious organization that does the work day in and day out. I would like to give special recognition to Ms. Letitia James as well as Danielle Braden for welcoming me with warm, open arms, and to the rest of the Urban League staff for challenging me and trusting me in my ability to think critically, dream big, and execute. I sincerely appreciate the Urban League of Hampton Roads for continuing to provide resources, opportunity, and support for myself and Black and brown people alike. I'm extremely excited for another year as a young professional with the Urban League, not only due to last year's success with Juneteenth and other events and initiatives, but primarily due to the enhancement the Urban League has brought to my artistic platform. Through their support, I was in turn able to provide and share opportunities for other like-minded people and organizations to take a step closer to fulfill their goals and their dreams. What I enjoy most about the Urban League is that I am able to be my true self, and that allows me to better serve the people. Whether I'm the musician, the event producer, the host, the big thinker, or the person who wants to help everybody, I have found a home with the Urban League. This is only an extension of all of the work everyone is contributing to the organization. So I would also like to thank our corporate sponsors, the team at On Point Communications for always being amazing, and everyone listening and anyone who we may have reached. Because that's ultimately what it's all about, lifting as we climb and helping us help us. I know that I was put here on earth to serve and uplift, and that's what I plan to continue to do. And I would like to accept this award on behalf of my family and anyone who believes in the work that we are doing and the fight that we're fighting. I truly look forward to all of the great things that are in store for the future, the relationships that will be forged, the expectations that will be exceeded, and the history that we will make together. Thank you.
Good morning, ladies and gentlemen. I am Francine Allen Humphrey, and it is my honor as president of the Urban League Guild to present this year's MLK Community Leaders Guild Member of the Year Award. The recipient of the Guild Member of the Year Award must have demonstrated a servant's heart, a desire to volunteer and support the Urban League of Hampton Roads, be dedicated to the promotion of our programs and events, combined with a strong sense of civic and family duty. It's been said of this year's winner that he has for some time and continues to put his whole heart and soul into serving his community, his life's work, and his family. He's a lifetime member of the Urban League Guild of Hampton Roads with over 60 volunteer hours of service to the Urban League in 2022. He's a member of the 200+ Men and chair of the Scholars Academy program, mentoring young men 13 through 18. He, his wife, and children reside in Suffolk, Virginia. Ladies and gentlemen, please acknowledge this year's Guild Member of the Year winner, Dr. Anthony Sanderfield.
I sincerely thank the Urban League Guild for nominating me for this award, and the Urban League of Hampton Roads for honoring me with the 2023 Urban League Guild Member of the Year Award. I am a very humbled and proud recipient of this award. I especially want to thank Mr. Gilbert Bland, Ms. Letitia James, and Ms. Francine Humphrey for this recognition. This award will always have a place of honor with me. Thank you again.
Again, on behalf of the Urban League Board, our staff, our young professionals, and guild members, congratulations to each of our very impressive roster of MLK Community Leaders Award recipients. Your well-deserved recognition inspires all of us to continue to walk in the footsteps of Dr. Martin Luther King Jr. as an advocate of justice and equity and lead a life of service to others. the Urban League of Hampton Roads fulfills these aspirations daily, and I am proud, very proud, of the men and women who demonstrate this year-round. Our education and youth development team is growing and leading tremendous impact through a new partnership established with Virginia's historically black colleges and universities, Norfolk State University, Hampton University, Virginia State University, and Virginia Union, to serve as tutors and mentors in the urban core cities of Portsmouth, Norfolk, Hampton, Newport News, Richmond, and Petersburg, to improve the academic performance for local high school students. Funded and supported by Governor Youngkin and his Office of Education, we are proud to be part of the solution for the academic crisis and learning loss our children experience due to COVID these past 2 years. In addition, our education and youth development team are helping many high school students become successfully prepared for careers in college by engaging them in Project Ready, a pillar initiative established by the National Urban League. We thank our sponsors Dollar Tree, Hampton Roads Community Foundation, Truist Bank, Riverside Health System, and community partners like Next Steps to Success for investing in tomorrow's next generation of leaders. Our employment office is ready to get people back to work by helping them gain access to great careers with businesses throughout our region, particularly the maritime industry. We are excited to partner with the Hampton Roads Workforce Council to fulfill the mission supported by the Biden administration's Good Job Challenge grant to help diversify the talent pipeline for the maritime industry. Our focus is intentional. We work closely with our HBCUs, not only here in Virginia, but also in North Carolina, as we partner with our sister affiliate, the Urban League of Central Carolinas, to ensure Black students have the opportunity to successfully secure employment with these businesses. In addition, we will work with Norfolk State University's Innovation Center and entrepreneur Dr. Angela Riddick to connect minority businesses to have access to supply chain opportunities with maritime businesses as well. Our finance team is needed more today than ever. Our savvy team helps people get their finances back on track. We provide free counseling services to those who need help with credit repair, strengthen income and savings, reduce their debt, and establish personal financial goals. A reflection of the great work being fulfilled by our finance team, our partnership with the Hampton Roads Workforce Council and the Local Initiative Support Corporation, LISC, has successfully continued for 3 years now. We have also launched a new partnership with the United Way of Southampton Roads to launch VB Thrive, which allows us to provide financial counseling and wraparound services to residents of Virginia Beach. Our health team is helping people affected by HIV/AIDS learn how to live successfully with this chronic disease. No longer is it a death sentence that it used to be, considered over 40 years ago. Our amazing case managers have served as partners to the City of Norfolk's Ryan White program to help residents diagnosed with HIV/AIDS maintain their medical care and services. In addition, we have partnered with Norfolk State University, Eastern Virginia Medical School to address the importance of mental health awareness in the Black community. Sponsored by Centera, the Urban League, NSU, and EVMS are working with our Black faith-based community to educate pastors and congregations about the plethora of resources and services available for our communities to obtain support. Our health team has also partnered with Riverside Health System to address social determinants of health across our pillar programs to improve the health and well-being for our residents. Our housing team, a beacon of light and hope as they close the racial wealth gap in housing within the Black community. Day in and day out, year-round, Our small team of 4 meet with residents across Hampton Roads to help them become successful first-time home buyers. To date, nearly 200 people received keys to their new home last year. In partnership with Virginia Housing, over $8 million was awarded to residents who completed our workshops and able to receive a discounted mortgage towards the purchase of a new home. Once again, a partner with Norfolk State University's Center for African American Policy, the National Urban League, and HUD expanded this effort to ensure college staff, students, and community benefited from this program. Now, courtesy of our corporate partners like Bank of America, Dollar Tree, Dominion Energy, United Way, Virginia Natural Gas, the Urban League has been able to serve as a safety net for thousands of residents who are still rebounding from COVID by providing emergency funding to pay their rent, mortgage, utilities, and childcare. These services and programs are barely scratching the surface of the tremendous role and significant impact the Urban League of Hampton Roads serves to this region. I encourage you to contact our office today to explore how you can get involved to support our mission. We cannot do this work alone and requires people who are like-minded and share the passion and commitment to improve the quality of life for others, just as Dr. Martin Luther King Jr. did, and just as all our MLK Award recipients demonstrated today. It takes a village. In closing, I hope you are as inspired as we are for the coming year to have yet another opportunity to serve and make a positive difference in the lives of so many others. Thank you once again for joining us today. Until next year, wishing us all a healthy and prosperous new year. Thank you.
Ladies and gentlemen, it has truly been an honor and a pleasure to serve as your MC for the Urban League of Hampton Roads 39th Annual MLK Community Leaders Program. Congratulations once again to each of the outstanding recipients whose accomplishments to serving the Hampton Roads community inspires us all to continue the work Dr. King led on our behalf. In the meantime, support the Urban League, and we look forward to seeing everyone in person as we celebrate the Urban League's 40th anniversary for the MLK Community Leaders Awards. Happy New Year, everyone.
Let us pray. Our God, we thank you for what our eyes have seen, what our ears have heard, and what our hearts have been inspired and encouraged to receive and share. Thank you for each and every part of this time together today, as we remember not only the dream and the dreamer, but the one who is our Redeemer. You, O Lord, have the power to continue to chart our path towards the aggregation of unity and great fellowship. And the prayers and the words of the Reverend Dr. Martin Luther King Jr. break the spell of that which binds our minds and purify our hearts, that we may see thee. O God, in these turbulent days when fear and doubt are mounting high, give us broad visions, penetrating eyes, and power of endurance. Help us to work with each other rewardingly and with vigor for a warless world, for a better distribution of wealth, and for a brotherhood and sisterhood that transcends race and color. And as we leave this moment, but still in your presence, in the name of Jesus, we thank you and we pray. Amen.